In this video, we're going to give you a look at a real-world logo to show you how we would convert this into rhinestones. So our customer asked us for a 10-inch overall width, and they actually wanted to add a little bit of height to this, and we're going to show you how we're going to do that as well. But they want to use all SS10 stones, of course. So the first thing that we're going to do is now this is a vector EPS file. And so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to ungroup all of our artwork. So we just right click and choose ungroup. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take the entire logo and resize it. So I already have it selected here, and you can see it's already roughly at 10 inches wide, but we'll change it to exactly 10 inches. And then we're going to do something a little bit unusual in the fact that most of the time um, when you're working with Rhinestone software, you want a vector. And in most cases, I actually design backwards, and I don't want a vector. It's kind of weird. So at any rate, we're going to just duplicate this design down. Now the scissors, I think I'm just going to get rid of that and deal with our text separately for a moment. And so what we're going to do is take our text. Let's go ahead and bitmap, convert to bitmap. And we'll go ahead and accept those defaults, whatever they are. Now, once we've converted to a bitmap, we're going to go to our trace bitmap option here in CorelDRAW. Center line trace, we'll use that line drawing option, and whatever the defaults are, doesn't really matter. You can play with those settings, but the default settings usually work okay. Then we'll go ahead and click OK, and that will give us our center line trace. And then we can delete our bitmap. We don't need that anymore. Now, it doesn't look great, but we can fix it up pretty easily. So we'll go ahead and select this. Now you can see over here in the Object Manager, it's a group. So we do need to ungroup it first. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of spacing here between sole and scissors. Now you can see here in EasyStone, we do have a stone color already selected and a stone size and a stone spacing. So we're just going to select the whole kit and caboodle here, go to the Stone tab and choose Add Stones. And that will add stones to those paths. Now, like I said, you'll get kind of mixed results, but it's okay. We'll fix it up in a jiff. So we're going to select the whole bit and click on Delete Stone Paths because we don't want our stone paths for this particular task. So let's take a look at the letter S here. Now, it's really a personal choice what we're going to do here. I'm going to just make some decisions, artwork decisions as we go along here. So I don't like how this looks. This looks too pointy to me. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to add a little bit of space, move that down, and you kind of have to play with it a little bit. That's the nice thing, you can zoom in and out here, CorelDRAW pretty easily with your wheel mouse. Get that spacing the way you look, and I just think it just flows a little bit nicer. It's a subtle change, but you know, and I do tend to obsess over things more than most probably would. Um, but I went to school for architectural design, so it was just instilled in me. So what we're going to do here is going to just kind of move things around so they make sense. And sometimes it's hard to see because we have overlapping stones and such, but we'll just delete some stones here, move some things around. This actually is going to come up here. And what we're going to do here is we're actually going to just take all these stones here and we're just going to reposition the whole works. So whatever we think makes sense. Now like here, what I want to do is I want to put a stone there. But see, we have an overlap situation, so we just fix it. Just put that stone where we have to have it, and we'll just modify things. So what I'm going to do is actually, and you know, sometimes I go up, sometimes I come down. We just have to kind of play with it till we get it exactly the way we want to. So we're actually going to move these stones back up a little bit because we need to gain some room here for our letter O. So just shift these stones around. And like I said, I usually obsess a little bit more than I probably should. All right, so that takes care of the O. So now we kind of have a baseline, if you will, of how big our rest of our letters should be. So there's the O. So now you can see our U is looking a little bit too small perhaps, but that's okay because we need to modify it anyhow. So let's go ahead and select a few stones here, and we'll just push and shove and move about to get what we want. Maybe I'll add a stone there. There we go. So that pretty much takes care of our letter U. Like I said, I will obsess over those little changes there. And now I do want a connector from the O to the U. And that's just a personal choice more than anything. And then we'll move on to our letter L here. So our letter L, we're just going to kind of move some things around here. So that will take care of that. And let's see here what we're going to do to fix this situation. So let's go ahead and delete that stone temporarily. And we'll go ahead and select all of these and shift them over a little bit. That looks good. And I'm sure we'll make some adjustments on what we're going to do here. So we're going to maybe change from the original artwork a little bit, but that will give us a better looking design overall. All right, so that kind of takes care of that. And then I'm going to select all these parts of our tail here. Give us a little bit of space. Shift select, don't want that stone anymore. Then we're going to move these. All right. Then we kind of just stand back and look. And I'm actually going to pull down a guideline and stand back and take a look. And you can see I would actually like this to be a little bit tilted here. So we're going to actually move this down so it just looks more in line here. So there is the soul. Now, when I stand back and look at this, I think that L is actually not tall enough. I think I would actually like it a little bit taller. So again, these are just choices that we'll make as a designer if we want to make some changes. So I do. So I'm just going to move those up. Add me a stone there. Go ahead and grab these stones again. And these look a little out of place here. So I'm just going to line those up. See how that L comes up here? And like I said, I'll obsess over those little things. Something just doesn't look right. Just modify it however you think it needs to be so it looks just right. Because it will make a big difference. Your customers will see it. Alright, so that kind of takes care of our L. When I stand back and look at it, I do like it a little bit better, but you know what? I'm going to add one more stone. Alright, so enough with that. I think that looks pretty good. Now, no point in messing with the letter S here because we've already done that. So better to copy over what we've already done. So then we're going to deal with scissors. And we have a lot of letters here that are the same. So we're just going to kind of fix one up and then we'll deal with the rest. So for our letter C here, let's go ahead and drag that down to the baseline. And I'm actually going to pull over a guideline for our O just to give me some type of reference for the rest of these letters. Alright, so that is about the proper height by looking at that. And we're going to select all of the letters of our letter C. So I'm just selecting one, holding my shift key down to select the others. So there's the letter C. And let's go ahead and grab our letter I stones. Slide those over a little bit. These we're going to have to slide down. Alright, so now we kind of have this issue where we have to take a look at. Let's make that right. Because I like how that comes up from our letter C like that. Alright, and then finally our letter I for that. Alright, so now we have to look at the scissors. So we only need one S. So I'll tell you what, let's do this. Let's go ahead and delete the other parts of our S here. And let's go ahead and delete this one at the end. And we don't need the O. So we'll go ahead and delete that too. Just that little bit of the R just to help us out when we get to that point. Alright, so now with our letter S, we're just going to slide that over. We're going to drop in one extra stone there. Then I'm going to take all these bits, push it up a little bit, and then we just tweak. So we'll just select these, pull it down, and make that change. And we can make whatever changes we think we need to. And I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to pull these over a little bit. And we'll do something like that. Just make those small changes, whatever we think we got to do to fit everything in place. All right, so there is our letter S. So CISS. So we'll go ahead and copy over another S. And you know what? Hey, if it looks a little strange, that's okay. Let's just move this where we think we need it. And then we can move this down as well. So there we go. There's our CISSORS. So let's go ahead and move our R out of the way. And we already did an O, so no sense in reinventing the wheel here. So left click and drag, then right click to make a duplicate O. There we go. So then it's just a matter of dragging it in place, deciding how we want the two to connect for the script. And you know, if we decide, hey, that looks a little weird, we can make some changes here. So we just have to play with this a little bit, get it connecting like we want it to. Actually, I don't think that looks so bad. So we'll go ahead and leave that like that. Pull over our letter R here. We do have a gap there, so let's go ahead and fill that in. We'll just nudge these stones however we want to nudge them. Might move that up there. All right, then we're going to take the rest of the R here and move it down a little bit. And we'll move this down a little bit. And we'll slide that over. There we go. So that takes care of the R. Now we already obviously have done an S. So let's go ahead and borrow those stones. We'll line them up just like so, and we'll delete one of these objects. There we go. It takes care of that, and then I'll just add a couple of stones here for the tail on our S. I think that looks a little better. All right, so there is the scissors part. So now what we're going to do is we're going to grab our S here. Let's go ahead and copy it over. Let's get rid of the extra O that we grabbed. So get rid of those. And now we have just our letter S. So we can pull that back over. It's a little tight there, but that's kind of how we want it. All right, so there is Soul Scissors. And you can see we just did a little bit of manipulation, moving things about, and you know, it actually turned out pretty good. So we're going to stack it like this because the customer wanted a little bit more height for the design. And so we'll just do something like that, and I think that'll look pretty good. All right. So with that out of the way, now we can put our focus on the scissors. Now, pretty straightforward to do. So we'll just move our scissors over here by themselves. What we're going to do is just create a little circle here. Take that same circle, bring it down here, rotate it. Don't worry about the original artwork. That's only a guide. We can modify it from there. Let's go ahead and right click on the original artwork and lock it so we can't accidentally move it. And then we're just going to grab our 3-point curve tool here and draw a curve that kind of similar to our scissors. Draw a curve kind of similar to the scissors. Draw a curve kind of similar to the scissors. And we'll draw a curve kind of similar to the scissors. Alright, so that's kind of give us our basis of our design. So now let's go ahead and select our one circle and hit add stones. Select the next circle, add stones. Select our curve and add some stones. And select this curve and we'll add some stones. Now we tweak. So what I'm going to do here is actually pull these stones a little bit closer. Don't be shy. And then here, you can see where this stone is and this stone is. We're just going to kind of make it seem like they all integrate right in there, just like so. And do the same thing over here. So just kind of make it look like it was supposed to connect perfectly right there. Okay? So that takes care of that. Now, right now, these stones are attached to a path. So we're going to dispose of those paths. Just select the whole kit and caboodle, delete stone paths. And then we'll just kind of hand place a few stones here. So we'll just select one, right click to make a duplicate. And then we'll come in here and just hand place a few wherever we think we want them. So that looks good there. So I think I'll leave that there. We'll do one little right there for our scissors there. That looks good. Here, I think what I'll do is I'll just kind of hand place a couple, maybe like that, and then we can probably fit one in. Maybe we can fit another one in. We can just tweak the placement of those. That looks pretty good. If we want to push, we can probably fit one in there a little bit. And we'll take these stones, push those out a little bit like so. Alright, so then we'll just come in here to kind of mimic these teeth. We'll just do every other stone here. That will kind of mimic our teeth. And that's it. That's basically our scissors. If we pull that away separate, you can kind of see what it looks like. So there it is. So we're going to go ahead and double click on the line there on that guideline. That will actually bring up the guideline dialog box. We'll clear those horizontal guidelines. We'll pull over our sole scissors. That looks good. Then we will add a weed box. And that's what the finished design will look like. We'll go ahead and use our stone use report, add some dimensions for our customer, and there, that is the essence of the design. So looks pretty good. I think they'll be happy with it. And you know, it took us about 15 minutes or so to create the design, but you can see how quickly it comes together if you understand how Easy Stone works, some of the features here in CorelDRAW, and more importantly, some of those shortcuts in CorelDRAW to make that design process easier. So I hope you enjoyed this one, and thanks for watching.